So, first of all, I'm going to introduce myself. And for all the international audience, let me clear one thing that this is a very uh, focused live session for the Fulbright Pakistan. So, it's only for the students who are applying from Pakistan. So, there will be quite a few things that would benefit you, but this would be very specific and for the students who are applying from Pakistan. So before I start, I'll just introduce myself. My name is Adil Saleem. I'm from Pakistan, from Charsadda. Uh, my education is I've done my BS and MPhil from University of Peshawar, uh, which people believe that that's one of the myth that only students from the top tier universities like LUMS and NUST got selected, and the other students got ignored. So I'm here. So that's a myth too. Uh, One thing, so my background is biotech. I went to the Shawnee State University as global undergraduate exchange student back in 2012. Uh, I then joined, after my MPhil, I joined CCOS University Institute of Integrative Biosciences. I did a project there with the government of Cgpa, propagation of synthetic biology, and I was also teaching different courses, especially computational biology, because that's where I did my MPhil. Uh, Another thing that most of the people are worried about is the publications. So I'm a PhD student here. I got a Fulbright for PhD uh, with no publications. So that's the second myth. And I'm not talking about like preferences. Yes, those people who have publications got preference, but those who have not, I will encourage them to please apply, because I know I'm not the only one, because I know other students as well in my cohort who got selected without any publications. And then there is the third myth that for a PhD, the work experience is important and it's a requirement. No, it's not a requirement. It's a preference, but it's not. It's not a requirement. So if you don't have a work experience, don't sit back. Please apply, right? Uh, so that's it. I'm here in University of California, Davis, and I'm pursuing my PhD in microbiology. Uh, so the I'll have only 1 hour. First, I'll go through like very briefly the general what Fulbright is, what are the requirements. Then I'll go through what is the procedure and what are the most important elements of the application. That is GRE, statement of purpose, research statement, recommendations letter. I'll talk about them briefly, and then I'll give you a brief description of each one. How do you prepare? Strategy of each one, uh, and then I'll answer your questions. But you can drop your questions uh, whenever you want. So, so the first thing is what is Fulbright? So it's a full sponsored scholarship, very prestigious one to the US. Uh, and we Pakistanis are lucky because we have the largest Fulbright program. Uh, a couple of weeks ago, I met another Fulbrighter from Bangladesh, and they say how like the only 4 people from whole Bangladesh got selected for Fulbright, and in Pakistan we have 150 seats. So I don't know why people won't apply for that. And I have experience, like I applied in 2017. I made it to the interviews. I couldn't make it. I applied again in 2018 with the same statement of purpose and everything. I couldn't change nothing. And yet I got selected for interview again. And yes, I'm here. So if you fail one time, apply again, even if you are using the same resources like I did. So it's a full sponsored scholarship. What that includes your visa fee, the airfare, the health insurance, the tuition fees, your stipend. You'll get money one time for laptop, some conference fees as well. You'll get a couple of times the book allowances as well, and one time settling allowance. So here, you will, when you come to the US, they'll give you some settling allowance so you can like adjust. And so what are the steps? So first thing is this application. The application is already been started. It's open. The deadline is May 13. One of the most important thing that is an application is GRE that you should prepare quite ahead. And this is the time you start preparing if you haven't prepared yet. And I would recommend, if you haven't prepared yet, you just go register yourself, get a date. That's why you will be more motivated to prepare. So the GRE, I'll talk about it in detail, but the GRE, the most people will ask about, is this GRE, it is GRE International. Then people ask, is it general or it is subject? So it's general, right? I'll talk about it in detail. It's not GRE subject. TOEFL is not required. IELTS is not required. Even if you have it, they won't ask it. They'll ask about TOEFL. If you just want to mention it, that's okay, but it doesn't have any weightage in your selection, right? So TOEFL is not required for the application. So when you are done with the application, the first step they go through that they check the applications for completion, whether your application is complete or not. If there is anything missing, they won't bother asking you, because they have like 3,000 or 4,000 applicants, and they have like a lot of applications. They won't bother asking you, hey, this is the one thing that's missing. Could you please provide us that? Maybe they ask you, maybe there's a couple of cases, but why would you risk it, right? So the requirement is this program is for masters and PhD programs. So for masters, 14 years of the undergrad, 14 years of education. For PhD, it's 16 years of education, right? All the fields are applied, all the students are eligible to apply. Only the clinical medicines or just doctors get it. They are not eligible to apply. They are eligible to apply only in the fields like epidemiology or public health or some kind of health policy and those kind of things. So they can apply, but not in their own field, but in the related fields. So first, how the application process go. Application should be full. If you are not yet graduated, you can provide your degrees, the final degrees, till December 2020. You can write, okay, I'm in my final semester. You can still apply. You can provide your degrees till December. And you'll hear about your application in August. You'll have interviews in August, late August and September. And then you'll have the final selection in mid-October. And then from October, then you are selected, right? Then they will apply with your consent to different universities, for 5 different universities. They'll apply for 5 different universities. You won't have to pay anything. They will pay the application fee and everything. So you might appear in a couple of interviews with a professor that are interested in you. And let me tell you, it's easy, because when the Fulbright write to them that, okay, this is the guy, we want to support him fully. Would you be interested in giving admission to him? So all the interviews that I've been through, it was just a formality. So they won't ask you very challenging questions. They'll just ask that if the person, they just want to know you as a person. So that's not an issue. So after that, there is some medical clearance. Then after that, like when you're applying for the right now, you don't need to verify your degrees from HEC, but when you're selected, then they'll ask for verification of your degrees. Right now, for the applications, you don't need to provide the TOEFL score, but when you're selected, then they'll ask for the TOEFL, right? And the TOEFL score doesn't have any weightage in the selection. GRE has some, but the TOEFL doesn't have. And then after the medical clearance and all those things, then it's the visa process. So almost all the people got visa. So don't worry about anything. And then your cycle starts. And the people who don't want to invest, like there are a couple of reasons people don't apply for the Fulbright. And one of the main reason is GRE. And what is the reason behind GRE is one, it's difficult. It's not that difficult, but people don't prepare. And the second thing is financials. I know it's expensive, but look at the outcome. Look at the outcome you're getting. It's an investment in yourself, and you're kind of get that in like so many folds. So you just have to invest a little bit of time and a little bit of your energy and a little bit of your money in it. So now I'll focus on the most important part of the application. There are four. One is GRE. Second is statement of purpose. The third one is research proposal or research statement, and the fourth one is recommendations letters. So the first one for the GRE, as I told you, it's just a requirement. It's not that the whole selection process is based on the GRE. No, it's not. You'll see people with a very average score. Now you might ask what's the best score. So it depends on your subject. If you are a life science student and if you got like 290 plus, that's fine. You need to focus on other things. You don't worry about GRE. That score is fine. The more the better, but I'm just saying that if you got 290 plus, that's enough. You should be focusing more on your statement of purpose and other things. Because I've seen people got selected with 293, 291, 295 on all those scores. So I would say the best score for the life sciences student would be 300 plus. That is the best. But if your application is good, if your essays are good, if your profile is good, if your CV is good, then it doesn't matter. Because the Fulbright is a cumulative effect of the all. It's not that only GRE has more weightage than other things. No, GRE has some weightage, statement of purpose has, your proposal has, and your background and your experience, all those things. So you don't worry about the GRE much. Okay, so the one thing, what is GRE? It's a test that they want to check your logical reasoning. They don't want to check your mathematics skills. They don't want to check whether you can solve a question or not. Everybody can solve that question, but they want to check your logical reasoning. So whenever you want to prepare for the GRE, you prepare in a way that you check your logical reasoning and you develop those logical reasonings. You must be able to solve the question by looking at it. I know it's I'm just making it difficult for you, but still, that's the purpose of it. So it's GRE general. It's not subjective. So by general, I mean there is only 3 sections, and if you break it down, it's 2 main sections. One is English, another is math. The math section, they call it quantitative. The English section is called verbal, and now they have like different in English section. They have like different paragraphs. They have fill in the blanks. They have 2 fill in the blank questions. They have 3 fill in the blank questions. They have they have 1 fill in the blank question with 5 different options. where you have to select only two of them. So most probably you will select the synonyms, so the sentence will make sense in both of the cases. And in the second one, the math section, there is different math section, like different questions, multiple type questions or more. There are probabilities, geometry. So it's like the 9th, 10th grade math, right? But with a new approach. The only thing is that you have to manage, you have to solve 20 questions in 35 minutes. That's the trick. If you can do the calculations quickly, that's it. You got it. So, but if you can't, then that might be the problem. So you should be preparing by keeping the time limits in your mind. Okay. And the third section is called analytical writing. Now, some people or most of the people confuse this analytical with the analytical questions we got in GET or GET, whatever GET is that, NTS kind of exams hote hain. Those analytical questions are very general kind of approach questions, IQ questions. You can say that, okay, if this is a basketball court and these are 5 teams, so 2 teams cannot play the same day or with each other. So now this is a scenario you need to solve. No, it's not like that. Analytical writing section means here to write essays. You have to write 2 essays, right? That's it. There's no other questions. So there is no that kind of analytical questions that you will find out on the NTS and NTS GET. Now, this is the very important, very important thing you need to keep in mind. If this is the one of the takeaway, like one of the most important takeaway from this session, that is that, for example, the social science students or the literature students or all the life sciences, they're afraid of math. They say, I can deal with the English section, but I suck at math, man. I can do that. And if you look at the other like engineering students or mathematics students or physics students, they say, oh, I can do the math, but I can't do the English part. So let me tell you, who asked you to perform well in English? Because in GRE, if you're from engineering background, they will check your score in math, not in English. But if you are from English student or sociology or social sciences or law or literature or life sciences, they'll check your English score, not your math. So why worry about it? Like the thing that you don't like excel at. I'm not saying you don't prepare for that. You do prepare for that because you need some good score as well, the overall score. But you don't need to worry much about it, right? That's the one of the main takeaway. And what is the Fulbright requirement? Fulbright wants you to correct only 6 questions in English and 8 questions in math. So 6 out of 40 and 8 out of 40 is like nothing. That's the minimum requirement. You can increase whatever you want. Like you can, if you want to achieve 340, that's good. But all I'm saying, you should not be, GRE should not be a hurdle. It's just a requirement. It's not the whole criteria. Now people will ask, what about the resources? There is quite a lot of them. There is Barron, Kaplan, Princeton, a lot of them. What I found, जो मेरा research है उसके मुताबिक the best resources in the market is, I'll say 3, Magoosh, Manhattan, the ATS official उनके जो resource है, that's the one. So how should you start it? This should be your strategy. You should start with the Magoosh videos because they started from very basic and then they show you the tricks, right? And we are good when someone is teaching us because we are spoon feeders, so we learn well from the videos, right? So watch those videos, learn the tricks, and take notes. If you don't take notes, you cannot revise all the tricks by watching the whole videos again. It's like a few hours. It's like quite a few hours. So always take notes. So when you're done with all the videos of Magoosh, you can find that on Twitter. You really need to buy subscription. I know it's uh, there will be people who will ask, who will say that, okay, you're teaching us the wrong ways, but that's how Pakistan's system works. Everyone is using torrent. It's illegal here, but it's not in Pakistan. It is, but still, that's what you can have. You can benefit from. Okay, so GRE videos. The second is Magoosh have 8 strategy books. So if you are done with the Magoosh videos, then GRE 8 books would be like just eating a burger. Then just go through it. You will be done by a book every day or a couple of days per book. So that's 8 books. And then I'll recommend you go through the official book as well. And after that, the practice book is 5-pound Manhattan book, which have a lot of practice questions. Now, if your preparation is, if you're ready, and I'll recommend you give a mock test in the beginning of your preparation, so you know that you're progressing, right? If you got 280 score at the beginning, and you must be improving when you have like done with all the strategies. So you keep track of your progress, and you need to know that you're learning. So when you're done with Manhattan, right? Then and you want to practice like the timely practice, there is a Magoosh subscriptions where you can customize your preparation. Like if you say, okay, I'm not good at probabilities. Okay, make a test for me. They have all the questions from probabilities. So they'll make like 20 questions and they'll give you 35 minutes. So you'll prepare timely, right? That's it. Now there is a Pakistani website called Scholar Den. They got some good questions, almost more than 350 or some kind of questions they have in their quantitative and their website. So I heard about it that they have like that the people who study from there have some good experience as well. So you go and check that out. And please, if there is subscription and you need to pay for it, please pay for it, right? That's investment in yourself. And the strategy guide people will give you is for the 100%. So, and that's where we got scared. Oh, how am I gonna supposed to study that? That's too much, and I don't have time, and that's all. So, who asks you to give to get like 100%? Just get the minimum score so you can apply, or the average score, right? So all I'm saying, GRE should not be the hurdle, right? So I'm repeating, start with Magoosh videos, right? For both math and English. Then go to Manhattan, the 8 strategy books, then go to official ETS, then 5-pound Manhattan. Then if you want to timely practice, buy the Magoosh subscription. People sell it, it's expensive, but people sell it and it's like Netflix, you can share it. And there are the Pakistani website, the Scholar Den, right? You can get benefit from that as well. And the Manhattan, the Kaplan is bad. It's not that effective. So, but they have like practice test. You can take those practice. The Princeton have practice test, and there are for vocabulary. The best approach for vocabulary is that you read more and more and more and more and more, right? And if you don't have time, then you can do the shortcuts like using the flashcards. Magoosh have apps. You can install that. They have flashcards. Manhattan have flashcards. Princeton have flashcards. That's the best technique. You take flashcards in your pocket in the morning. You just give it a read for like 10 minutes, 5 or 6, or maybe more, not more than 10 flashcards per day. You study it, and then you repeat it like over the time, like after an hour or 2 or 3 hours. So by the end of the day, you'll be done with it. So just put it aside, grab 10 more for the next day. And then when you are done for the whole week, so if you're using 10, 10, 10, so by next Sunday, you will have 70 words. So repeat all of those. If you still don't know some of the meanings of some, you put that aside and you repeat that again, right? So flashcard strategy is the one that you can use for like a quick memorization of the vocabulary, and start reading more and more. Uh, that will help you in reading comprehension and of whatever you are doing, right? So I don't know if I left anything. Is there any questions regarding the GRE? If you have 2 months, that's more than enough for a GRE preparation. Someone's asking about that. English proficiency is not, that won't work here. And they don't even ask for the TOEFL yet. Okay, which GRE is needed? I said GRE General is needed, International GRE General. IELTS is not required, TOEFL is not required at the moment. It's not, it's Magoosh, Magoosh. If you have any questions regarding GRE, I can answer right now, because I'll move to the next section then. And this Scholarship Corner website has a very comprehensive GRE strategy guide. You can go through it. They don't have the Magoosh videos. They don't recommend to study Magoosh video. They want you to study from the Manhattan books straight. But I would recommend you start from the Magoosh videos, because that's very effective and that's very easy. It's like very beginners level that teach you how to subtract and multiplication and addition, all those things. Okay, another question. IELTS not required. It's the US TOEFL is required, but not now when you are selected. Yeah, so I'm going to repeat. So the question is, what are the basic requirements? The basic requirement is the application, and the four main components of the application is GRE, statement of purpose, research statement, and recommendation letters. And I'm repeating it again. Scholarship Corner website has a very good comprehensive guide for the GRE preparation. You can go through that. They have some very important points. And the resources I share, I'll just repeat one more time. Magoosh videos, that's where you need to start. The second is Manhattan Ed Strategy books. It's short, it's not that big. So you'll be able to do it in a couple of days. Then official GRE. The third is then you can practice all the practice questions present in the 5-pound Manhattan, and then you can do Magoosh and the Scholar. Then for the GRE, if you want to apply for the GRE, if you want to register for the GRE, there are two requirements. If you have a passport, you can apply through passport. But if you don't have a passport and you have a smart NIC, like the English one, that's enough. You don't have to apply for the passport if you have like the smart NIC. Okay, and there are different centers in Pakistan. It's in Lahore, it's in Karachi, it's in Islamabad. So you can talk to them. You can bring them up, ask them about different questions if you have. Okay, the second most important part is the statement of purpose. Statement of purpose is one of the most important, and sometimes people say it's writing is you'll have to like it's very difficult to write. Writing is not difficult. You will write it down. You will ask someone to review it, and then they'll recommend you some corrections, and then you'll do that, and then what happened? You from some English teacher and whoever that is, so your writing is now good. But the content you're about to write in your person statement is important, and that takes quite a lot of time to develop the content, right? So because that's where all your experience come, and that's where you will mention uh, why you are here, uh, how you get here, all the experience of your life. So one of the most important statement of purpose is it's not about your CV because they have your CV, you'll submit your CV. It's not facts uh, that you share with them. Okay, you shouldn't write about like, okay, I did BS from this, I did MPhil from this was my research topic. No, talk about your experiences, what motivates you, what inspires you, right? So you need to know about yourself and you need to write about that. One of them, like you need to know who you are and what are your current goals, right? What is your goal? What is your field of study? And why you started it? Why you started it in the first place, right? This is important. I'm gonna spend some time on it. So the thing why is more important, right? Why did you select your field? This is something more important. And if you did not, you should have a story about it or some motive, some events that happen and you selected that specific field. Like for example, so note it down. Why you select this field of study or career? The time why is important. And what was your motivation? Like what inspired you to choose this area, right? Now everyone has some different perspective about their life. That like one of my friend, uh, she wrote about it like, okay, she said I was interested in sci-fi movies. I was watching quite a lot of scientific approaches and all those things, so I got inspired from them, and that's why I made my career in life sciences. Yes, that's right. You can say uh, I read a book, for example. There's a book, very small one, Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's about financial management. So you can say, oh, I read a book, and that was about financial management and entrepreneurship, and that's why I chose the my field of study is entrepreneurship because I see a lot of value, a lot of scope in this, and I can do a lot of things in it. You can say when I was growing up, there was 9/11 happened, so that got me interested into politics. So that's why I went into political science or international relations or peace and conflict or uh, strategy, war strategies, or whatever your interest is. So even if you don't have a story, make one. Right. That's the key. Even if you don't have, because let me tell you one thing, they have like just think from the perspective of a person who review your application, the reviewers. What do? They have like 4,000 applications. So how much time they have? How much time they have for like whole application? Like, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes for just a single application. And then how much time do they have for your personal statement? Personal statement is just one part of it, right? It's less than 1 minute. It's less than that. So don't be yourself, make it easy, make it clear, and don't lie, right? Uh, although I'm saying that you should be making up a story, but you shouldn't be lying much about like your goals and stuff, right? Uh, इतना झूठ बोलो कि वो सच साबित हो जाए. Okay, so जो आपका start होगा statement of purpose का, that is very important. That should be catchy. ताकि वो बंदा जब start करे तो वो कहे कि भाई ये इस बंदे ने तो बहुत अच्छा किया, right? So that should be interesting. क्योंकि उसके पास सिर्फ थोड़ा सा time होता है. And okay, the other thing you can see is like you say, when I was growing up, I saw wars in the Middle East on oil resources and stuff like that. So you can say, okay, I wanted to think that, is there any alternative to the oils, the fossil fuels? So that's why I'm interested in alternative energies and all those stuff. And then you can talk about the climate change. Okay, the climate change, the global warming is happening. And that's the reason that I got interested into this alternative strategies or in environmental sciences or environmental biotechnology or all the activism that people do, all those kind of fields that includes activism. So, and so you need to find out that why you started it. You need to mention it. That is the most important thing I would consider in a statement of purpose, is that what was your motivation for choosing this field, and then you need to be clear about what your goals are, right? You will mention those goals more in the research statement, but you should know about it. And let me repeat it again that it should not be made a list of the facts, right? In the personal statement, you can write the things that you cannot mention in the CV. Like, for example, you got a scholarship, but you deny it. You can write it here, and you can say that is some kind of sacrifice you did for your goal. So if you have made a sacrifice for your goal, you can say, okay, I got this scholarship, I got indigenous scholarship for my PhD, but I didn't avail it because I wanted to go abroad for a PhD. That's the kind of thing you don't mention in the CV, but you can write it here. And sometimes people just mention their miseries. Okay, you can mention one story or short that, okay, you are from a very, very poor background. That should be one point. The next point you should be making about your leadership skills. And also, so for example, if you want to mention your final year project, you should mention the skills you develop in the final year project. If you want to mention that, okay, if there is an occasion, if there is a book, if there is a movie, if there is a whatever the situation is, the life experience that changed you, mention that, right? What makes you who you are, right? If there is a person who influenced your life, mention him or her, right? If you spend a lot of time in hostel, mention it. Okay, I have spent these much years in hostel, which gave me the skills of leadership, self-motivation, and good communication and team player. All those skills, mention it. If you've been on a scholarship abroad, you mention it, what kind of skills you got, right? Don't just mention, okay, I went to US or UK for this scholarship. No, that's not enough. What you got out of it, mention there, right? Uh, and the things that must be there is that your statement of purpose should reflect that you have some leadership qualities, right? So mention any role that you have played uh, in your life uh, that that shows that you have some leadership qualities. If you have initiated something, initiation and participation is two different things. If you have participated in some workshops and conferences or some kind of things like that, do mention it, but initiation and organization is got more weightage than the just participation. So mention that you have started this organization, you have started this student union or association or something like that, right? That shows like the uh, whatever you have. And then the work experience, if you have, also mention that this was the work experience, and mention your contribution and your achievements, like whatever you have achieved. If you have got some awards, mention it. If you have done some project with the government or some other people, mention it, that these are my achievements. And based on all these things, I consider myself a best candidate for the Fulbright. And when I get the Fulbright, what are you bringing back to Pakistan? What should be the contribution to Pakistan, right? Because the purpose of Fulbright is to be trained here in the United States, but go back to Pakistan and contribute to the society, right? So you don't forget to mention that I'll go back and these are the kind of skills, these are the expertise I'll be bringing back to Pakistan, and this is the sector I'll be spending or investing my time, and my skills in it, right? So these are some scattered important points that you need to mention about yourself. It's your life story, right? Statement of purpose is your life story. Uh, so you should make it more interested, and this is where you are going to sell yourself. Uh, yeah, so even if you have said no to something, like I mentioned the scholarship, uh, that is very important from a personality perspective, that you are able to say no to something. So mention it, that you got a scholarship, you said no, I'm not going to take that because I want to achieve something big. You got a job offer, you said no, I don't need that, right? uh, I think, and there is also on Scholarship Corner, there is a comprehensive guide on the on the statement of purpose. You can give it a read. But I guess the most important things that is required for the person statement is what I've discussed. If you have any quick questions regarding statement of purpose, I can answer that. And there is a lot of statement of purpose samples present there. It's on the website. I don't know if the Scholarship Corner has it, but it's just Google it. They have a lot of people have a lot of it. If you have any questions regarding the person statement, I can answer that. Okay, I have only like 10 minutes. Okay, so I'll go through the research statement now. What is a research statement? It's a broader perspective, like what you have done, like what are you interested in? Why are you interested in? Here, the why is also important. What are you interested in? Why are you interested in? What do you have? like what are the kind of skills you have, like what is the kind of background you have, and then what is your future goals, and how the US can help you achieve that, right? These are the 5 main things. I'll repeat. What are you interested in? Why are you interested in, right? Your field of area. The third thing is, do you have any background in it or any skills in it, right? And then mention your future goals, your professional, what is your professional goals for like 20 years in this field. And then finally mention what exactly can the US help in achieving your goals. So for example, if somebody can say like that, I'll just give you an example. You can say that, okay, the global warming is happening. The glaciers are melting. The hidden microorganism that's there for like millions of years, they're getting, they are dormant there. I don't want to scare you guys, but but that's happening. So the microbes they've been there buried for like millions of years. They'll be exposed. So we'll be exposed to that. They'll be alive. So we need to make strategies for that. So that's why I'm interested in studying microbiology or studying infectious diseases or all those things. And then you can say, you can give some statistics, right? If you want to give a broader view of your field, you should give some statistics. Say, okay, this is what's happening. This is the economic loss. This is happening. Whatever the statistics are also very important. And then you can say, okay, that is going to be the future. So we'll be exposed to a lot of microbes. So to get ready for that, that is the area that I'm interested in. That's why I selected it. And then you can say, okay, I did my undergrad in it. I did these kind of projects in it. I did this kind of internship in it. So doing these kind of internship, I got these kind of skills. I can do this, I can do this, I can analyze this, I can do this. And then you can say that based on my background, based on my experience, based on the skills I have, now I want to do this, right? Down the line for the next, from my PhD, like just mention what your broader picture of the future is. Like, for example, you want to build some hospitals or whatever you want to do. You want to treat some disease or anything like that. Then you can say, okay, my focus for PhD would be this. My focus for master's would be this. That is the bigger picture I want to achieve from down the line in 10, 20 years. But now for PhD, I want to focus. PhD is just a milestone for me, one milestone, and I want to achieve this. Right? So that's where you mention your project. So you don't say, and that's where you need to be specific, but not very specific. And by that I mean, you should mention that, you should not say that, okay, I want to treat coronavirus. But that's very broad. And you should mention some of the, like, make it a PhD project. That, okay, you are interested in this kind of proteins and you want to make this as a vaccine or something like that, right? So you need to be like specific in their scenario. And then you mention that, okay, this is what I'm going to be pursuing for my PhD, but this should be not very specific and not very detailed, right? It's only 750 words. So you have a background, you have a broader view of the project, of the area, of the field of area. If you're interested in international politics or computer science or something like that, you should mention it, okay. Or some climate change, those kind of things. So you should mention some statistics, and then you mention your background. Like, if your background is in, for example, engineering, how can you work in infectious diseases, right? So That's what I'm saying. That the background is important. You should mention it that yes, you are the right guy for the right for the future endeavors you want to take. Right. So the broader view with some statistics. So you should convince them that okay, this area needs to be like focused, and we need to invest some time and energy in it. And then you said, okay, I have these expertise, I have these skills in my arsenal, and I have this experience, and I can do. I did that, and I can do this, and that is my future goal. And in all of my future goals, this is the one thing I'm going to focus in my PhD or my master's. That is the research statement. It's a very brief one, but still, uh, that's how it works. And still, there are a lot of samples that you can get help from. It's not that difficult. You can always ask your professors and your teachers and your mentors, or whatever, like to help you out with this. And some like what the Fulbright organization like is entrepreneurship, startup, policy, all these kind of things. So give it a touch of these. You'll be in the edge if you have some kind of link with the entrepreneurship, startups of your field, or some social work. These are the things that they like the most. I hope I gave you a very brief idea of what to write in a research statement. There's someone who's asking about background information statement of purpose. Yes, it is your life story. You should give the background information in statement of purpose. Contemporary info is not enough. If you talk about the research statement, then it is important that you give a broader picture. You don't need to mention about your personality in research statement. That's where you need to talk about research statement, not about your personality. You have talked about your personality in statement of purpose. Okay, so if you have any questions, and yes, there are different websites that you can find. Scholarship Network. I think that the Scholarship Corner also has some samples of research statements and statement of purpose. But you will find the good ones if you just Google it. But I know Scholarship Network has some. Yeah, GMAT is not acceptable. GMAT might be acceptable in some cases if the program asks you to, but for the Fulbright application requirement is only GRE. Yeah, should research methodology be mentioned in research statement? If you want to mention in a sentence or two, yes, but not in a detail that you need to mention like, okay, I'll do the 1,000 sampling and then I'll do this and then I'll do this. No, just a brief overview of what you want to do and what you intend to do. Okay, so the final part is the reference letters. The reference letters is unique to 3 reference letters. So the first thing you need to do is you need to go through the whole, just dummy fill the application. Don't submit it, dummy fill it so you can see the next page, and you can go through like different pages. So just go through the whole application so you have the idea that what's required. Now, recommendation letters that you need is from the professors or from your teachers that you worked with and they know you well. And so if he is your research supervisor or final year project supervisor or the person who you took courses with, so that is the kind of person who can write your recommendation letter. If you are working, if you have work experience, it's good to include a work professional recommendation letter as well. If you don't have a work experience, that's fine. Just get it from your professors. And the process is that you'll just mention the name of the professor in that, and then you'll mention his email, and then you'll click that, send him the link. So he will get an email. So the email has a format of different questions. So they'll answer those questions on, and then they'll write like the recommendation letter for you. So recommendation letter is very important because it's like the feedback from the people you worked with. So if they are not happy with you, they won't recommend you. And so don't get a recommendation letter from the people that you don't have a very good experience with, right? Because you don't know कि वो क्या लिखेंगे. So get it from someone who you know that they know you and you had a good time with them, and they can write like a good recommendation letter for you. So when they submit the recommendation letter, so first the sign will be red. When they submit it, you can see that, okay, now this is green. So you start working on application from now, and don't submit it yet because you don't have your GRE score. So you start working on it, and when it's done, you submit it. But you'll still you can like fill some part of it and save it. So you'll see the recommendation letters, that what is the progress, if they have submitted or not. So, and if there is someone who is very senior and he can't approach, sometimes the email goes into the spam or whatever that is, into junk emails. So you ask them to check, and always remember the date you send it to them, so he can track like which date you send them. So you just need to be straightforward and candid about the experience they had with you. And yeah, so 3 recommendations. And if there is someone who can't access to the email, they can also submit the recommendation letters in a sealed envelope, and the format is there. So they need just to print it out and send it in a sealed envelope, and send it to the address like through mail as well. But I guess the mail is not a very, I wouldn't trust it. Although I did it for one professor, and they received it and they accepted it because I got an interview for that as well. But I would prefer that you ask your professors to submit it online. And if you have any questions, I can answer that. I'll still say the Scholarship Corner website have some good resources. They have GRE strategy guide. They have general, very comprehensive guide for what the Fulbright is, what it covers, what are the requirements. So you can go through that. Now, if you have any questions, I can answer that. Otherwise, I'm done. And I must say once again that please apply. And this is a myth that only the students from high-tier universities are accepted, like LUMS and NUST. Yes, they have like a good number of it, but in the previous cohort, 150 students were selected from 39 different universities of Pakistan. So LUMS or NUST to do universities hai, baaki log kidhar se aa gaye? I know there's IBA as well, but still 39 universities. And yeah, I would especially motivate the people from KP because they don't apply. And I'll just ask you guys that if you look around, how many people apply for Fulbright? you won't find much. Somebody asked me that, okay, they only select students from good universities, and then I asked her that, how many people do you know that applied for the Fulbright? And she said, only you. And then I asked, how many people are selected? So that's mean only me. So that's like 100% success. So start applying. Yeah, TOEFL is not required for the application. They will ask you to appear in TOEFL when you are selected for interview. And for those who have families, I would highly encourage them to please apply as well. If it's a girl or a boy, you need to apply because in my cohort जो लोग सबसे ज़्यादा खुश है वो वही हैं जिनके जो अपनी फैमिली को साथ लेके हैं, right? So you can bring along your spouse with you, your kids. So although the Fulbright won't pay much for it, but they will facilitate you in the visa process and all those things, but you must apply. Okay, so Cgpa, so yeah, they just want you to know, they just want to know that you're a good student. And some universities have a relative system, so the relative system they might end up in 2.8 or something GPA, but their percentage is high. Some people have like 4 GPA, so it should be decent GPA. It shouldn't be like in 1, but it should be more than 2.5 something. But GPA is not the only criteria, so that it all combines, like GPA, your work experience, if you don't, forget about it. Your research experience. I'm not talking about publications, right? You might have presented your research in some conferences, or not conferences, you just did it like a final year project or something like that. Your profile, your CV, your statements, your research statements, and the most important thing is in the statements is why, right? Why? What is your motivation, like why you are doing what you're doing, and why you want to do what you want to do. So always start with why. And there is a book of Simon Sinek as well, Start with Why. It's a good read. If you have time, just give it a read. You will find out why the why is important. And then he has another book, How to Find Your Why. You should read that book as well, because after a huge success of Start with Why, people started asking the questions, how should we find our why? I don't know what my why is. And then he wrote another book of how to find your why. And so I got quite a help from that book when I was appearing for the interview. There is an interview section, like there is a scenario in which the person is giving like the interview based on the why. So I use that trick too, that book. Okay. Okay, GRE fees is $205. So now it depends on the current government of Pakistan. That when I applied, the dollar was in 106. So it was like 20,000 something. Now I don't know, it's about more than 30,000. But it's investment in yourself. Yes, TOEFL is not required right now. It will be required when you are selected. Yeah, and you can apply like for GRE till the end of May. Application deadline is 13th of May, But if you are registered for GRE till May 30, you can just attach your GRE registration. We're not talking about summer internship for the BS students right now, but there are some other scholarships like SUSI and Global Undergrad Semester Exchange Scholarships that you can Google about it. They have like very good scholarships, SUSI and Global UGrad Exchange Program for the BS students, both of them. How important is the GRE score? One of the panelist जो applications को देखते हैं, he said the same kind of question someone asked from him, how important is the GRE score? And he said, GRE sirf de do. This was his comments, and that's what I can't mention the name of the person, but that's what he said. So GRE is just a requirement. Depends like the whole applications. So don't afraid from the GRE. Yes, you can give the GRE after the application deadline, but your registration slip should be attached to the, and only up to May 30, not after that. And those students who have been on the exchange student like Global UGrad alumni, they are very encouraged to apply because you will get an edge. You have an edge. Yeah. Because I'm an alumni too, so I'm here and I know quite a lot of people from the Global UGrad scholarship in my cohort. Okay, thank you so much for your time, and I must say again, please apply. And the good thing about the Fulbright is when you apply for Fulbright, you have everything to apply for other scholarships, right? There is a Pak US Knowledge Corridor, right? And they have like 10,000 PhD scholarships. So when you have all the scores and statements, you just apply. You just submit the same. I did the same. I just submit all my Fulbright essays and submit them on the HEC website. And I got selected for that as well, but I then refused. Yeah, I covered the research statements. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Fawad Afridi, who is the admin and kind of the founder of this page, for giving me this opportunity to reach out this broader audience. And he's the guy you can contact him all the time, even though if he does not have like the experience, but he knows people who he can he can link you up with a lot of people. And he has a website, a scholarship corner website. I'm mentioning again, they have like a GRE strategy whole essay, and they have like the Fulbright, very long, comprehensive blog in it. So thank you so much. Thank you for listening. Okay, just one last question. After applying for the scholarship, do we need to apply for the university? No, you don't need to apply. So they have like another organization, the Fulbright, they will apply for you. But they will ask you that these are the kind of universities we want to apply for you. Are you agree or not? So you can recommend the universities. And there is a section of your preferred universities on the applications. If you don't know what universities you are interested in, don't write, right? Leave it blank. Because it feels very awkward that only universities that you have mentioned were there is Harvard, MIT, Stanford, and some very famous New York universities or something like that. Because it shows that you haven't researched it researched that part very well enough, right? So yeah, if you have done your research, mention it. If you haven't, don't mention it. Okay, thank you so much. Allah Hafiz, good luck, and thank you for once again Scholarship Corner. You guys are doing an amazing job. Allah Hafiz.